All right. It is the, what date is it? It is the 20th of August 2025. And for the sake of all those who are in Kenya right now and waking up and wondering how is the weather gonna look like. Now, after yesterday, majority of Nairobians were really prepared to face the weather this week. But then, you know how the weathers itself, if I may use that term this morning. If you look at how we've woken up today, we were predicting rainfall today, but it's not really that bad because our highs today are gonna be 22. Our lows are gonna be at 11. Currently, as it is in Lavington area, just before I walked into the studio, I could see the sun trying to peek through the clouds. And for those of us who had to put on double jackets and double socks and double pants, I'm sorry, it might backfire today to some extent. So let's see exactly where we are. In fact, it's going to get warmer as we proceed today. Our highest is going to be at 21 degrees, and that's around 4 p.m. today before we get back to the lower temperatures that we are accustomed to. In fact, it's going to get warmer again tomorrow. Our highest is going to be 22. Our lowest is going to be 12, all the way up to Saturday. Saturday is the one that is predicted to be a bit cold. Highs of 20, lows of 10, all the way to Sunday, where we're going to have highs of 22 and lows of 12. So it might not be a loss, because if you look at these temperatures, by the way, 21, 17, 18, those are temperatures that are way low what we're used in our tropics. Yes, we can be proud to say that. And so yes, you might want to keep that jacket, that hat to keep you warm, that coffee that you're preparing, you can walk around with it. And hopefully that sun that's coming out, if you have a chance to walk out of your office, go, bask a little bit, I think your bosses this morning would understand, because the week opened cold and it looks as if we are going to close it cold. Good. That's your weather snapshot this morning. Now, let me tell you exactly what it is that we're going to talk about this morning before we jump into our dailies. No, in fact, let's jump into our dailies before I come and tell you what it is that we'll be talking about this morning. Fantastic. Let's begin with the Daily Nation as usual, and it's carrying a story that has really rattled some members of parliament, because the president is hitting heavy on some members of parliament which he alleges, or who he alleges, are corrupt. In fact, he goes ahead to say that during the passing of the finance bill, some members collected 10 million shillings, all right, which some members of parliament were supposed to be used as an incentive to pass that bill, but then that money never got to the pockets of some members of parliament. Controversial statements that are going to come from the president this morning, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So let's see where we are. Members of parliament bribery scandal crisis. That is what the president has started yesterday, actually the day before yesterday. Let's talk about it. The various sections here that you're going to walk into this story. The first one is a crackdown, where the president has formed a multi-agency team on a war against corruption. That's the first one. Sabotage. Now, various members of parliament cripple House business and paralyze committees in a show of defiance. In fact, the House yesterday could not run because members of parliament decided to be a no-show because of the sentiments or the remarks of the president. There's also backlash now, where lawmakers are threatening speakers with no confidence votes to force them to act. How to act? I do not know. Because indeed, if you look at majority of members of parliament, even the ones that are allied to President Dr. William Ruto, they came out strong yesterday, speaking about how the president must have been irresponsible to say so. And they want now the speakers of the National House to act. How? We'll tell you exactly what options that they have. Now, prosecution. And a rising calls for the president to submit evidence to charge rogue members of parliament. Now, the members of parliament are saying that if indeed your route is going to be to charge the corrupt members of parliament that you are alleging, then you have to provide evidence that is going to back up your sentiments or your allegations. In fact, this time around, they are proper allegations that the president is throwing against the members of parliament. Now, retaliation. Now, members of parliament now are vowing to exercise their power on budget cuts to hit back at the executive. Ooh. Now, members of parliament are also saying, look, we can cripple you if we want. Yeah? Because of the powers that we have, we can cut that budget that has been extended to the executive, which would make you sing our song. Very interesting turn of events here from that meeting at Current that did end well, with members of parliament also cutting that meeting short. It didn't end. They cut it. It's interesting to see what's going on in the National House. It's now the National House versus executive, but as it is, it looks as if it is the National House versus the president. Which way? And this is what the president has done now. He's tasked a multi-agency team to fight corruption and economic crimes, but this task force essentially is targeting members of parliament. In fact, if you look at even the sentiments of the president from even the devolution conference, or saying that, well, somebody has 150 million shillings that is giving out for charity in the country, and they're asking, why are they getting this money from? But then again, if you turn around, you would also see what the president has been doing across the country. Currently as it is, members of parliament allied to the UDA side have not come out clearly to state where the money that is being used for empowerment across the country is coming from. They have not come out to say where it is coming from. In fact, if you look at majority of the interviews that they've had across some of the big media spaces in the country, they are struggling to explain where it's coming from. Some of these empowerment drives have gone all the way to State House, Nairobi, so led by the president himself. But that question, I do not know whether it's the right question to be asking at this point, because the members of parliament have come out heavily and they said, we are going to show you. And before you move on, you have to table your evidence. But the president is completely convinced that indeed, majority of members of parliament in our house are corrupt. Talk to us at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. Do you think that the president is right to push the members of parliament to the wall to prove where they're getting some of this money they're dishing out in the country? We'll be looking forward to your responses this morning. Let's talk about another big story here. Deputy Chief Justice Mwilu has been cleared of misconduct charge in Gachagua ouster case. Now, it's a very important story because we're waiting for one Rigathi Gachagua to jet into the country tomorrow. Now, this is the story they're going to read on page 2. Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu had been accused of usurping powers reserved for CJ in assigning judges to hear the case challenging the impeachment of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Now, do remember there are allegations that even the appointment of the current Deputy President doesn't meet constitutional thresholds. It's interesting to also look into this one as well. You're going to read that story on page 2. There's also a story here on how Kenyan phone users a touch away from cons. Now, nearly half of Kenyan mobile phone owners receive an extortionist scam scam call or text message last year, according to a World Bank survey. Now, Kenya ranks second most targeted in sub-Saharan Africa. That's interesting data right there, that half of mobile users in the country last year either received a text message or somebody trying to extort money from them. But you don't know exactly what it is. I mean, at this particular point, any other person who's sending you a message or calling you about money, before you make that step to start sending them money or engaging these individuals, you gotta think twice. Confirm 1,000,000 times before you make that step, or else you're gonna be part of the statistics that we're talking about this morning. Good. There's a story here now on senators vote on trial of Kericho governor. Now, 10 months after the Senate abruptly terminated impeachment proceedings against the Kericho governor on technicality, Kericho governor Eric Mutai again will face senators today when graft charges brought against him by the county assembly are read out to the House. Now, Kericho MCAs for the second time voted to impeach the county boss on August 15th. The latest governor who's faced the members of the county assembly in the impeachment process, and one of the many governors since devolution who have faced impeachment or who have been impeached. The latest to go home being Kawira Mwangaza, who went down as one who couldn't come into proper terms with how the members of parliament, the members of the county assembly, deemed her leadership in the county government. Now, other stories here that you're going to read is why hundreds of graduate teachers are barred from junior school jobs. That story has been covered on page 10. And there's a story here on how a scramble for Harambee Stars match tickets crushed the online portal. That story has been covered on page 32. It's good news and bad news at the same time, because for the very first time now, there's a very good incentive to support local football. Quite interesting headlines this morning. And by the way, we're still going to buy those tickets because we still retain our home advantage in our push for CHAN. Good. Let's cross over to the Standard as well, so we can look at the main story here. Not so much. They've that picture here of one Raila Amolo Odinga and President William Ruto. Log in their eyes, that's the headline this morning. Now, Ruto's trade against members of parliament has been branded sheer hypocrisy. The executives wrote dwarfs, they speak into substandard fertilizer crippling farmers, to harsh oil input deals. The scandal's trail is administration like a shadow. Even his allies, handouts, and churches and stadiums clocked as generosity, reek of patronage politics. For many Kenyans, the president has squandered the chance to make corruption a high-risk venture as promised. Instead, his finger pointing has exposed a government gorging on the vice it condemns. And all this time being urged on by his bosom friend, Raila Amolo Odinga. That story has been covered on page 6 and 7. And you did see the backlash that Raila Amolo Odinga also got when he tried to address members of parliament on the devolved state of the NGCDF. Yeah, there were a lot of loud murmurs and protests from members of parliament who sort of felt like they're getting pushed to the wall by the two, that is one, President Dr. William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga. What are we seeing? What is this war that we're now seeing between members of parliament and one Raila Amolo Odinga and President Dr. William Ruto? And it looks as if this fight now is a spirited fight, one that Raila Amolo Odinga and one William Ruto are pushing in the country. How is it going to end? We do not know. For us, is to keep on watching and see how this one essentially comes to an end. Good. Now, just before then we take a tiny breather, I want to give you some big stats of the conversation that we're going to get into shortly, right here on The Morning Drift, in a big conversation. Gotta show you, it's about artificial intelligence in drones market is estimated to be around 821.3 million US dollars. That's close to $1 billion US dollars in 2025, and is projected to reach 200 and actually that's 2,751,000,000 US dollars by 2030. That's huge. That's huge. All right. Now, the market is driven by the increasing need for autonomous operations in complex environments, rising defense and security investments, rapid expansion of commercial use of drones, and increasing demand for real-time data analytics. This morning, then, we speak to a company called Sora Technology Limited, who have seen this opportunity in the African market. They are fully now in the Ghana market, and what they're saying is that we're going to turn around the fortunes in agriculture and health in Kenya. So we speak to them on a deeper basis to understand exactly what it is that they're trying to introduce in the Kenyan market and what they foresee as the data that is needed to unlock this particular area or these two sectors in the country. Looking forward to that conversation. You can also be a part and parcel of what we are going to talk about shortly right here on The Morning Drift at Lookup TV across all your social media platforms. Just before we go out then, let me see exactly what it is that Kenyans are talking about this morning. Again, we do know why Sifuna is trending, has not stopped trending, is because it looks as if he's one of the few who are standing against Raila Amolo Odinga, silently as it may be, because he's missed that joint conversation between the two sides, that is what we used to call the opposition in the country, and the government. Good. We're also seeing Maraga trending this morning, and this is what Maraga is talking about this morning, that the current presidency is completely corrupt. All right, it released a press statement saying that when President William Ruto stood before the country and accused members of parliament of demanding money from governors, ministers, and other state officers appearing before them, he cracked open a door that those in power usually keep firmly shut. That is according to Maraga this morning. And let me see exactly what it is that Maraga is also talking about this morning. And this is according to his communique about 53 minutes ago, saying that Kenyans will not accept a one-sided anti-corruption gospel that spares the pulpit while condemning the pews. The most diabolical bribing of members of parliament in Kenya's history was orchestrated by Ruto himself in order to impeach his own deputy. That's exactly what he's talking about this morning. All right, Moses Kuria is trending as well. And this is exactly what he's saying, that the two categories of people were misusing Raila. The first category believes that as long as you have Baba, you have the solution to everything. Baba is not Marubaini and cannot cure all diseases. I continue to say that the society has changed and that reality is about to crumble. The categories or governors should stop using Baba as an influencer for policy changes. And this is in line with the devolution of NGCDF, all right, where Baba or Raila Amolo Odinga was telling members of parliament that they do not need to control that fund, that fund now needs to go to the governor's control. Interesting sentiments right there by one Moses Kuria. Just final what's on this then. George T. Diano saying it's good that he brought this matter to the public. I think the president may have bribed parliament to pass his two darling bills, universal healthcare and a housing levy, in record time. That is according to George T. Diano this morning. Other than that, I do not see much that is trending in the country this morning. More to look for in our conversation this morning. We take a tiny breather. Once we come back, we speak to Sora Technology Limited. Good morning. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiaki.
taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
People are there to belittle you. When people are questioning you,
if you don't move fast, of course, yes, you lose it, but then it's not us to push you.
But you do not know the God who has been molding me. What has he been doing to me?
The deep and mature conversations of empowerment for you with a curious mind and an appetite for oriented conversations.
I concur with what you're saying.
You plan your finances, you can easily live without a debt.
An engaging safe space of free expression and truthfulness with an upheld vibrance, motivation and happiness.
So many children who are there, they are not living their dreams.
Join us for deep conversations with Zipporah Gashushe every Saturday from 8 p.m. The Deeper Conversations on Look Up TV.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
In case you're just joining us, this is the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. Thank you very much for making time to be with us right here on the Morning Drift. And you can talk to us at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. On this Wednesday, we have a lot of conversations that we are going to get into. But first, let me introduce you to a conversation that majority of economies in Africa are currently facing. Now, Africa's digital innovation is taking to the skies. Now, the drone market across the continent is projected to grow from $1 billion in 2024 to $9.3 billion by 2033, a staggering CAGR of 28% as nations adopt drone tech for agriculture, disaster response, and healthcare. Now, Kenya's own agri-drone market is expected to grow from USD $15 million in 2025 to $175 million by 2034, showing that precision flying is fast becoming an everyday tool. Meanwhile, malaria still claims 620,000 lives annually, mostly children under the age of 5 in Africa, and cost the continent as much as $16 billion in GDP losses each year. Now, innovators like Sora are combining AI with drones, reducing insecticides used by up to 70%, cutting prevention costs by 40%, and slashing labor expenses by 50% in early trials. Today then on the Morning Drift, we fly high with Sora to uncover how drone-powered intelligence is transforming agriculture, disease control and infrastructure, one flight at a time. And this morning we're joined by a man who has a very interesting title, who's the head of mosquito, he's the chief mosquito officer. And I want to introduce to you Mr. Yamaguchi this morning. Mr. Yamaguchi, how are you doing, sir? And welcome to Look Up TV.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here with you.
Drone market is on track for nearly 30% annual growth. Where does Sora see itself in this growth landscape?
Sora means the sky in Japanese. So from the sky, we are innovating people's life by drone and AI. We started with using this technology for malaria control, and now we are seeing lots of potential for other applications such as agriculture, climate change adaptations and all. So we see the huge potential in this continent.
Agricultural drone sector alone, which is also projected to grow by $175 million in under a decade. How is Sora also positioned for this drive?
Right. Sora is not only providing drone operation, but also our core technology is mainly artificial intelligence. So we sometimes optimize the operation, and also we make spraying very, very precise to keep a good balance with yield and also consumption of insecticide for better and more ecological friendly solution.
Fantastic. When you look at Kenya's agricultural sector, Mr. Yamaguchi, what would you say is a pointer to you thinking that indeed Sora is going to succeed in this particular space? Any lessons that you can draw so far in the areas that you're operating under?
For agriculture is a new challenge for us. We started in Ghana to look at cocoa plantation, for example. And we start with these, also we call it aggregator, those who are collecting crops and plants from smaller size of farmers for better, market reach. And this approach, we see lots of potential in Kenya too. So we are now contacting with the larger size of plantation, agri-businesses to market entry.
There's this thing about agriculture, probably in Africa and in Kenya, where people are slow to modernizing their operations. And now you're bringing them to this area where you're telling them that drone technology is what is going to open your prospects in this area. Are they slow to adopting? Could you talk to me about the pace of adoption in this technology, especially in Kenya, sir?
This is because why we are investing in Africa. Let me look at Japan. Japan seems a bit advanced in technologies, infrastructure, but adapting new things, our country is very conservative. So, but on the contrary, Africa, especially Kenya, we see lots of so-called leapfrog. So, adapting new things, I think Africa is a and also the and I may say it might be a challenge is to explain how the artificial intelligence might impact on the outcome for agriculture cases it's yield, because people see drones a lot, and also, however, how drone and AI combined for better outcome, this is very difficult, and I think it takes time to explain.
Pretty much. All right, let's talk about an area that your title actually falls under. Malaria still kills 600,000 Africans each year, Mr. Yamaguchi. How significantly can AI enable drone spraying, reduce disease prevalence and economic losses, especially in Africa where these numbers are coming from?
They are carrying mosquitoes. They are flying longer distance. So that it used to say that it is very difficult to look for breeding sites of such species by walking for human, so that we needed eyes from the sky. So here comes drone. So to look for, we have a couple of advantages over manually done malaria control when it comes to, we call that larval source management. So it is important to see, number one is where human cannot reach. Actually, it's gonna be swampy area, a paddy field, those things we cannot walk in. However, we can fly spray drone to over those places, and well, we are not spray like massively like helicopter things. We also use artificial intelligence to make it very precise in a location, and also the quantity of insecticide. So this we believe this would bring a huge difference in cost effectiveness of these malaria control activities, as well as keeping good balance with the environment.
Somebody's going to ask you this question, Mr. Yamaguchi. I mean, your title is very interesting because if Africa is fighting malaria, then any tech-enabled solution is quite welcome. I mean, have you tried this technology already in Africa? And what has been your success rate in the areas that you've already tried this technology under?
We have done large-scale larval source management using our drone and AI technology for the entire rainy season and after. So I can raise 3 points. Good point. I mean, the outcomes. One is we have successfully identified much larger number of water bodies. However, finding lots of water bodies are not really smart. So we have 2 AIs. One is to detect water bodies from the images taken by drone, and another AI also detects which one of them have baby mosquito larvae. So according to our research, only 30 to 40% of water bodies actually have larvae. So this was about technology, but through our research and the large scale implementation in Ghana, we found that technological concept was workable significantly. So in second point is the reduction in consumption of larvicide. This is because we have unique user interface, Google Map-like, so that the sprayer can easily to access water bodies with larvae, we call it high-risk water body. So they don't need to go to low-risk water body for spray. So this saved lots of time and also almost 50 to 60% of larvicide consumption.
Another question that you're going to find in this area is, I mean, even when you say that under your research, and you're going to find that only 30 to 40% of water bodies essentially would have the larvae that essentially would lead to this malaria-causing mosquitoes. I mean, in your research, are you saying that for us, we are only going to give you drone technology to solve this problem? Do you go beyond drone technology? For example, in instance, in areas or in places where, let's say, drone technology might not be the solution in solving this larvae problem?
That is correct. Number one, we respect the community. And also we do not intend to harm the environment. So the best scenario is to let community know what kind of water body might be breeding sites of malaria carrying mosquitoes from the start. Then we together understand how we manage these things. In Asia, we start with the cleaning community and also changing the how water flows after rain, how water is stagnated in a specific area. So we call it changing ecological setting, environmental setting. This might be a first step. And those water bodies, human cannot go. Here comes drone spray. So this could be a good future, machine and human working together to combat malaria.
Great. I've got a very interesting number here that is talking about how Sorwas Tech has showed up to 70% reduced insecticide use. Now, for somebody who's listening to this morning, when we're talking about drone technology and even this malaria control, how has your technology led to a 70% drop in insecticide use, Yamaguchi? Could you give us relevant examples for somebody who wants to understand what you've done to arrive at this number?
All right. Let me begin with our technology. We have two artificial intelligence. One is to detect water body, and the second one does risk assessment for larval sources. So previously, larval source management done by human, they have to go and look for all water bodies. It doesn't matter there's a larvae or not, they have to anyway go and spray. Sometimes, we waste some spray accidentally, although we have to spray for water bodies without a larvae. This is, the interesting part is using two AIs and drone images, we could find much larger number of water bodies with larvae. However, we saved lots of larvicide. And your question is how? So this is the interesting one. So how is this is related to how Japan is automating, let's say, factories, other industry. I don't want to say everyone, but sometimes human make errors and mistakes. So that that can be good area where machines can be, effective. I've seen, because this is a comparison between lab resource management done by human and the lab resource management done by our technology. So this is a comparison, and we saw that number in a reduction of lab side. So lastly, so the second AI does risk assessment from low risk to high risk. So the very easy navigation system for sprayers to let them understand where to go, and also optimize routing. This could save lots of energy and the time of the sprayer. And we believe this also contribute to avoid spraying people from wasting lab site. So this huge reduction, this is because thanks to the good combination between human and machines.
It's interesting that we are celebrating this number this morning, 70% reduction in insecticide use. It's quite a fantastic number. I mean, from ecological way of thinking. But then somebody's going to ask you the question, what will be the implications for scalable and sustainable vector control? Well, we are celebrating this number. If we go large scale in terms of controlling this, we also have to look at the implications. What are those, Mr. Yamaguchi, this morning, and how are you controlling the implications of scaling this?
That is a good question. One is what we want to do in Kenya, where innovative malaria control solution has been tested and implemented. So the eventually end of the day, what we want to see is actual reduction in malaria cases. So what we have proved in Ghana was cost effectiveness. So I'm saying that number one, our cost effectiveness solution can be a sustainable way as a new malaria intervention. However, second, co-creation is important to actually bring real efficacy on malaria case reduction. We need a strong partnership with the institutions, academia in Kenya to achieve that together.
Takes me to the next question around this area. I hear you speak, and for anybody listening to you, I would say this is technology that has a community-based attachment to it, because some of these solutions that you're giving have got a community implication. How has your tech gone down to the communities, or is this just a SORA-based solution that isn't adopted directly by the communities? Do you go in, solve it, move out, or do you allow for your tech to be also learned and used by the communities that you're giving solutions to?
Yes. Well, we are not really, doing our own. We are very happy to welcome local communities and also drone companies in the country, because we are sort of a platformer to providing these technologies. And imagine in a rural context of Kenya, someday all of a sudden, huge spray drone is flying to your community. It seems like it's gonna be an sci-fi scary movie thing. So understanding to gain understanding from the community is very important. However, I believe and I'm confident that grassroots activities of Kenyan anti-malaria education has been already there. So, and also the AI drones are areas of interest from students and children, even in Japan too. So we are very happy if these children, students would be interested in joining SORA and also our implementation in the communities, so that we can make a huge difference in the future.
Good response right there. I would like to take a tiny breather right here on the morning drift. Once we come back, more questions to SORA and the with the Chief Mosquito Officer, who is Mr. Masahiro Yamaguchi, who's talking about what SORA is doing in Africa and most importantly in Kenya in terms of really spreading the drone and artificial intelligence technology in providing some solutions, especially in agriculture and health. Once we come back right here on the morning drift, talk to us at Lookup TV across all your social media platforms. I am Atkia Simba.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hawa sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
People are there to belittle you. When people are questioning you,
if you don't move fast, of course, yes, you lose it, but then it's not us to push you.
But you do not know the God who has been molding me. What has he been doing to me?
The deep and mature conversations of empowerment for you with a curious mind and an appetite for oriented conversations.
I concur with what you're saying.
You plan your finances, you can easily live without a debt.
An engaging safe space of free expression and truthfulness with an upheld vibrance, motivation and happiness.
So many children who are there, they are not living their dreams.
Join us for deep conversations with Zipporah Gashushe every Saturday from 8 p.m. The Deeper Conversations on Lookup TV.
Mosquito Officer, Solar Technology, one Mr. Masahiro Yamaguchi, who is joining us this morning on the Morning Drift. Let's continue with our conversation this morning, Mr. Yamaguchi. Now, the question is going to be, especially in agriculture, we do know that majority of farmers in Kenya and Africa at large, you'll find that majority of them are small-scale farmers. Talk to me, what are you doing so that this technology reaches the small-scale farmers who are essentially the bigger chunk of the number in Kenya and Africa at large?
For our agriculture solution, has been implemented in Ghana, tested and implemented. We looked at the larger plantation, like cocoa. For smaller size of farmers, I think we have to partner with other industry, like finance and also aggregations of these small farmers. So let's see how agricultural machines have been introduced to the small farmers. This is something we could refer to, and also we could work with other services to approach and also introduce our technology to small farmers.
Much. Let's talk about SORBA now, and we have some very good numbers here that we're talking about this morning. I mean, your latest funding drive, you've raised $4.8 million US. Even before we get to talk about how good this number is this morning, could you tell us how much of that is going into expanding air mobility versus strengthening AI capabilities or regulatory partnerships?
Thank you. With that, now as a chief mosquito officer, we are hiring lots of country staffs in almost all targeted countries, and Kenya is one of them. And what we do is to convince investors, we have to create real business model in malaria control business. So we are really focused on developing businesses with these local members in targeted countries, discussing with the Ministry of Health, National Malaria Control Program, other malaria-related institutions. And also we have partnered with Exedi company in Japan. They are providing Japan quality spray drone, so that we are combining our solution, newly spray drone, and this could be adapted not only malaria as well as agriculture. And recently we focus on waterborne diseases. This came from our very recent pilot project in Nairobi. This is basically prediction of how waterborne diseases may happen after flooding, or unique raining pattern that not happens in the last couple of years. We called unpredictable raining pattern. So we started surely with the malaria, but again expanding to agriculture, and we called climate and health area, which is mainly for waterborne diseases. So we are doing this business development, hiring lots of people in country, and also making a partnership with essential partners from different industries. And lastly, with this key bundle of technologies, we are now penetrating in other areas of public health and also climate change.
I hear you. And the question that they really have to ask you is that you're targeting areas that majority of African governments are really also trying to make ground in, especially in agriculture and technology in agriculture, and the fight against malaria. And that's why you're promising to really come in with this solution. Could you talk to me about the ease of partnerships? How has it been? Are you finding it difficulty through regulations, or are African governments, and especially Kenya, opening up to investments like yours that are promising to push forward some of the investments that the government is also making in these sectors?
That is a good question. We see some change to not trying to look at one specific social problem like malaria. This is because with our technologies, our core is to see water conditions from the sky. So malaria, agriculture, waterborne diseases, these are now they have become unpredictable due to climate change. So these areas are really connected to climate issues. So we should not solely talking about our technologies, agriculture, this is malaria, this is waterborne diseases, because we have to combine these issues together to solve with our platform. For example, if you develop a paddy field, if you make rice, you need irrigation. And if you do it, there might be a potential breeding sites of malaria-carrying mosquitoes, for example. So issues are connected. So we are talking about different ministries, different partners, but we don't see any difficulties. However, we have to unite together to fight against the bigger layer of social issues, I mean planetary issues like climate change.
4.8 million new USD, Yamaguchi, this morning. That's a good number. I mean, for any business that is really promising to come in with proper solutions in these areas that SORA is targeting, it's a success. If indeed you're going to get 4.8 million from a financing round, what is convincing your investors that indeed this is the way to go in Africa? What is that magic bullet that is making investors unlock their wallets to you?
Thank you for interesting question. from Japan, because we have all of our investors mainly based in Japan. And what's happening in Africa is something a bit far from us. So if we talk about malaria elimination, sounds good to them, but we have to make profit by solving these social issues. Then the convincing part of this fundraise is, to me, we actually have implemented our solution in Ghana, and we saw the very good outcome out of it. So this is a very good outcome, and also successfully convinced new investors. Oh, Sora is very serious in this issue, and also their solution has been developed to this level of mass scale deployment. So this is the convincing how we convinced new investors to join us.
What this drone technology then would mean to our skies. We now have a conversation that is coming up, especially in developed economies that are heavily using this drone technology. We're talking about unmanned traffic management systems that are now essential in these economies. Coming to Africa means that indeed, yes, you might have that space to go in a bit easy, but in a couple of years' time, when a lot of this drone technology is going to be entrenched in these economies, you might be facing that challenge. Therefore, how is Sora tackling this challenge in congested urban and rural airspaces?
Below 300 meters, and there would be a chance for integrated air mobility, not only drones, helicopters, and also in future flying cars. Our CEO is one of experts in this area in Japan. So the Sora will be a platform of this area by starting with malaria, climate and health, and agriculture. Eventually, we would really like to build strong air mobility system in the continent using our experiences and expertise.
When you're thinking about scaling this operation, especially in Africa, because I know that's the next part of your conversation, how are you going to approach it? Are there pilots with the authorities for scalable airspace integration, especially in areas which we know are going to open you up to multi-use operations in agriculture, health, and logistics?
Right. For logistics, drone delivery, logistics, there are some innovators already in the market. We could follow them and contribute to make it more reasonable and sustainable for end users. But we are more like focusing on artificial intelligence, not only drone hardware and system. So we are very happy to see these areas where this AI could contribute to. That's why we picked up malaria, we picked up agriculture, waterborne diseases. So together with our potential competitors or partners, such as innovators already in the market, together we would like to contribute to advancing air mobility in the continent.
In 6 African countries, but I want to focus on Ghana. What are some of the lessons that you've drawn from Ghana that are going to be sort of like a roadmap to the rest of the African countries that you want to introduce your presence in? Could you give us a couple of them?
All right. Lessons. We learned a lot. For example, this is because liable source management, when we look at it is used to be understood now, it is a supplemental vector control intervention recommended by the World Health Organization. So it is very hard to assess solo efficacy of our solution in this context, because nowadays most of people are sleeping under mosquito nets, bed nets, as well as most houses, especially in malaria endemic area, indoor residual sprays are widely implemented. So in terms of expected outcome of our solution, project site selection is the very important. So this is one of our lessons. For example, if we do our solution in urban setting, for example, like Nairobi, for example, malaria cases are quite low. If we bring our technology to the cities like this, it is very hard to see the efficacy of our solution in cities. So this is one of the lessons, and together with how we roll out to other nations, we have been already working on it with the finance got from the recent fundraising. Now we are expanding close to 20 countries and started dialogue with the key malaria stakeholders. Most of them are very much interested in our solution, because although they have been distributing bed nets, implementing indoor residual sprays, other interventions, some countries witnessed resurge of malaria cases, and also some countries also struggling to actually eliminate the malaria. So for those countries, they expect new technologies to come in.
Again, let me just give you some of the insights that we do know from some of these African countries that you're targeting. An example is Rwanda's Zipline delivery model that essentially has reduced blood delivery times from 2 hours to just 41 minutes. Someone's going to ask you the question, how is Sora's model? Is it on par, or is it going to be different in the Rwandan market? Because you got to go in knowing that, well, there are some solutions that are working for that market.
Right, Zipline is innovator in drone industry and also in Africa. We could be a follower of Zipline to contribute more economical solution to the industry to save more people. However, one of the strengths is AI, and with that, we are really good at analyzing water conditions. So when it comes to water, larvae is breeding in the water. Cholera, these, waterborne diseases from water, and agriculture needs water. And also, drone spray. So we are carefully selecting potential business areas where our solution would fit in.
Fantastic. Guess what? I'll beg again, we take a tiny breather right here on the Morning Drift. Once we come back, clear this conversation on what Sora is really trying to unlock in Africa's economy. Once we come back, conversations on whether indeed they are looking forward to integrating 5G or blockchain or AI-enabled UTM for more resilient air networks, and their plans under talent training and local innovation right here on the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kenya. Once we come back, still in with Sora.
People are there to belittle you. When people are questioning you,
If you don't move fast, of course, yes, you lose it, but then it's not us to push you.
but you do not know the God who has been molding me, what has he been doing to me?
The deep and mature conversations of empowerment for you with a curious mind and an appetite for oriented conversations.
I concur with what you're saying. You plan your finances, you can easily live without a debt.
An engaging safe space of free expression and truthfulness with an upheld vibrance, motivation and happiness.
So many children who are there, they are not living their dreams.
Join us for deep conversations with Zipporah Gashushe every Saturday from 8 p.m. The Deeper Conversations on Lookup TV.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Let's clear this conversation this morning on what Sora is doing in Africa, and most importantly, Kenya as well. Now, into the last part of our conversation this morning, my question to you then would be, just looking at what is growing in this sector that you find yourself in, this industry, if I might call it, with a lot of 5G conversations, blockchain technology and AI-enabled UTM for more resilient air networks. Is that the next conversation for Sora, even at a time when we're talking about you introducing this technology in Africa?
Absolutely, especially since Sora means the sky in Japanese, we are also interested in space technology, like satellite and all. These cutting-edge technologies surely contribute to advance our solution to another level. As a chief mosquito officer, however, I'm committed to save people with what we can do. So my responsibility and ambition is to roll out our solution as soon as possible, because we can't wait to see another 600,000 people die from malaria.
It's important that you should be speaking about that, because I mean, we do know that drone technology is growing on a daily basis. I know you've had your roadmap now put in Africa for the next 5 years, or the economies that you want to touch in Africa for the next 5 years. But how is this emerging technology going to impact your roadmap? Is it going to change, or is it going to remain the same?
Thank you. For example, as we partnered with Exedi, which has a Japan quality spray drone. Actually, this one is not our technology and the portfolio, but we are very happy to work with and partner with these companies, which shares same ambitions and commitment to fight against social issues. So we are very happy to expanding our partnership across industries, such as space industry, as well as high tech. When it comes to AI, we have very, very unique use of AI. Just like Bill Gates also said, oh, this is a cool example of AI use. So we'd like to keep it that way. And also we'd like to be a unique in the industry.
Different economies need to create what I would like to call their own talent pipeline, people who are known to be a Sora talent. What are you doing to build that talent in the African economies that you are introducing your technology?
Yes, we are hiring lots of local staffs through LinkedIn and all, and lots of candidates applying for that, and their working experiences are previously they worked as a drone pilot, for example. Those people now are looking at, this job is actually saving people, making their mother countries a better place. I'm not saying drone pilot is just for making a living, but making a living at the same time saving your own people. Do you think it is a good idea to apply for Sora?
That you are targeting would provide a proper talent pool for drawing these people to Sora. Are you currently looking at collaborating with universities to sort of come up with some of even these community-based solutions that can get onboarded to Sora beyond getting that ready-made talent that may want to plug into Sora?
Yes, we have been partnering with universities, public health institutions. We are also welcoming internship from these universities, and also some people came to Japan for government initiative, and while they are staying in Japan, they do internship with us. So, and also our Japanese governments just announced to expand support in AI education in collaboration with the University of Tokyo. So we'd like to align with this government initiative to Africa to also pool lots of talents who are passionate to solve social issues like malaria.
Let's get then to the tail end of this conversation. Is that for you to prosper in the areas that you're targeting, the NGO, the insurance and government ecosystem has to be really developed within SORA. Could you talk to us about that? How is that ecosystem forming up in the areas that you're targeting in Africa?
Yes. In Kenya, for example, there are many people working on malaria control, eliminations already. So we are very happy to work with these experts and also academia, government officials. They know the problem, they know the challenges, and they know what lacks. So they are very helpful for us, and also they have asking us very honest questions. But through these dialogue and the conversations, we believe together with them, we could make our solution much better and customized to each country.
Let's talk about what you're doing as well, because I know SORA is now getting drone data that helps you work properly in the specific areas that you're targeting. If it's one thing that I know you found in Africa, is that we have failed to predict patterns, just to get proper data just to help us solve these issues. Could you confidently say from where you're sitting this morning that SORA might be the solution to prediction data, whether diseases, whether patterns? Is that what we might associate SORA with in just a couple of years of being active in Africa?
Yes, we have that I have been talking about. A malaria solution is called SORA malaria control. We have another concept of predicting what might happen after rain. We call it SORA SORA Health Intelligence Room. This is the exactly what you have imagined. We are collecting data from hospital, and also not only malaria, other waterborne diseases, and those things we put together in a single database and a single dashboard so that everyone can look at it. And this is a good idea for climate change adaptations. So together with the weather forecast, not only latest, but also the past, so that we could make our AI and the prediction accuracy smarter day by day. But we have done it in Nairobi already.
Let's clear like this then this morning. I've got one final question for you. In the next 5 years, especially in Africa, but most importantly, Kenya, what do you want to be the biggest takeaway for Kenya in as regards SORA's introduction of its services and its technology in this economy?
Right. as it's been like this, and it should be like this. With my hope, Kenya should be a innovation center, so that I appreciate Kenya is happy to adapt new technology like what we do, so that I trust other East African and also other African countries will follow. So our ambition started from Ghana and now expanding to the rest of Africa, and then in East Africa. We'd like to start in Kenya as our target country, and I hope to see you soon.
You soon as well. This morning we were in conversation with one Masahiro Yamaguchi, who joined the SORA team on July 1st of 2025 as the Chief Mosquito Officer. This morning talking about what SORA wants to achieve, what it has already achieved in the areas that they've introduced themselves in, especially in the Ghana market, and talking about what AI and drone technology can do, not just to logistics, but to agriculture and health at large. Mr. Masahiro Yamaguchi, thank you very much for joining us this morning, sir.
Thank you very much.
And you
see you soon in Kenya.
Social media platforms. I am at Kiange Semba, and that's it this morning.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch with us through 0700 893 542 or send us an email to info@lookuptv.co.ke.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed the life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Pindi tu taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza alikuwa na ria wasi wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hawa sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Multiple SWAT units responding to hostage situation. Yo! Being under, it's about improv. You almost shot me. Yeah, but I didn't. You're going to die. Maybe not.
Goodbye to you, my trusted friend.
Little girl, stop!
What do you want, little one?
Ready to rock?
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
Slow down. We are late. My stomach, Mike. I need a ginger ale.
Get a ginger ale and nothing else.
Showtime.
Hey. You asked for the vibes and we brought the vibes. Okay. Welcome to Gen Z Vibes, where the entertainment never sleeps. From blockbuster movies to music that bangs.
Experiment. Where is he? No matter what comes my way.
From fashion that eats to celeb gossip that shops. We are the plug. And if it's trending, you already know we are on it. It's real, it's raw, and it's giving Gen Z's. Come for the vibe, stay for the tips, and leave feeling 10 out of 10, minus nothing. This is Gen Z Vibes, where the vibes never stop vibing.
Oh. Everything okay back there? Oops, sorry, Gwen, my bad.
Are you prepared to become the greatest war machine in the universe?
Oh no. Are you sure no one's watching?
Gwen Mallard, do it now, or we leave without you.
Okay.
Oh, she's perfectly capable of doing her business in the sky, and yet here we are.
Just let her be.
Does anybody have a soft moss?
Just use a leash!
Oh, no.
Dad! Come on, there's so much to do. You could go scuba diving. Try some
The following program is rated PG. Parental guidance is recommended.
Empty, endless, lifeless. In man's primitive form, we could not survive the Arctic. Dogs became our greatest allies. They're our eyes and ears, our strength and stamina. Our closest connection to a wild and unforgiving nature. The occupation of the Arctic is one of the most spectacular human achievements. To survive here, man relied on his cooperation with the species that is far more than just a best friend. Conditions are too extreme for either man or dog to survive alone. But together, they have become native to the vast white expanses.